You're watching GCTV, Community Access Cable Channel 15 in Greenfield, Massachusetts.
Good evening. Welcome to this special meeting of the Greenfield City Council on October 1st. It is 7 p.m. at the Greenfield High School cafeteria at 21 Bar Avenue. This meeting is being recorded and videotaped. If any other persons present are doing the same, you must notify me at this time, and the recorder is videotaping the meeting, and the clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Sun,
Here.
Councilor Burson,
Here.
Councilor Alice,
Present.
Councilor Pyfrom is absent, Councilor Dolan,
Here.
Councilor Gilmore, Councilor Wheeler,
Here.
Councilor Mayo,
Here.
Councilor Hirschfeld,
Here.
Councilor Mass. Here. President Renault,
Here.
Vice President Ricketts,
Present.
Councilor Stemple.
Present.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to suspend the rules of procedure? Is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So we have suspended the rules of procedure as, just for the benefit of anybody watching or everybody here, we're only dealing with a couple items at this meeting, so there will be no public comment, as I think most of you have probably already figured out, because this is a special meeting to just deal with the veto and then the possible ballot question, depending on how the veto vote goes. And so I'm going to ask Councilor Alice to read the first motion.
Move that it be ordered the Greenfield City Council take from the table order number FY 20-38, quote, that the, quote, establish the city of Greenfield as a safe city ordinance, end quote, previously voted on by the City Council on August 21st, 2019, and vetoed by the mayor on September 3rd, 2019, is hereby approved, which was tabled at the September 18, 2019 City Council meeting.
Is there a second? Who's, okay, so this is a motion to take from the table, and this is non-debatable. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. Abstain? Okay, so the motion has been taken from the table. Councilor Alice, could you read the motion that we're voting on now?
Move that it be ordered that the, let me see. I think there's a word missing here. Move that it be ordered that the city council, quote, establish the city of Greenfield as a safe city ordinance, end quote, previously voted on by the city council on August 21st, 2019, and vetoed by the mayor on September 3rd, 2019, is hereby approved.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. So an explanation of supporting rationale. A yes vote from the council would uphold the mayor's veto. A no vote from the council would override the mayor's veto. That's what it says in the pack, but I'm a little confused because that doesn't all the way seem to make sense. So I'm going to confer. It seems to me by the reading of this, and that's actually opposite. A yes vote would override the veto because it would be confirming establishing the city of Greenfield as a safe city. So I've got a parliamentary on one side of me, a lawyer on the other. Go at it.
Yeah, take a look at this.
A rose between two thorns. Just kidding.
I won't take it personally. That's right.
I'm not going to comment.
Can I weigh in, if I could? It would seem to me, President Renault, that you're absolutely correct, that the yes vote would be to approve the ordinance.
Yep.
And a no vote would be to, I think that would be the case, to approve the ordinance.
Well, you've got to vote on whether or not you're overriding veto. So the motion was made originally.
Well, no, here's the, under section 3.7, this vote, sure. My understanding is under section 3-7, the council is now in a position of having to, quote-unquote, finally approve the ordinance, notwithstanding the mayor's veto. So it would seem to me that the natural result here would be that a yes vote on the ordinance would have to be taken, would mean passage of the ordinance. A no vote would be to reject the ordinance. So you're taking another vote under section 3-7, which is required by that section of the charter. And in order for the for that final approval to take place, 2/3 of the full council has to vote to approve the ordinance under section 3-7.
That seems right to me. Yep. So the motion that's on the floor right now is the ordinance again, and so we need 9 votes this time to affirm the ordinance, which would be also to override the veto. So a yes vote is to affirm the ordinance. A no vote is to not affirm it, but we can have a discussion. So is there, Councilor Mass?
Move to call the question.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, this is going to be a roll call vote, and just one more time, a yes vote approves the ordinance and makes Greenfield a safe city for now, under the definition of what a safe city is under the proposed ordinance. A no vote agrees with the mayor's veto. I just want to make sure, I'm getting a look from Councilor
Point of
Sun. I
order.
want to make sure that you're clear.
Point of order.
Yes, Councilor Mass.
President Reno, isn't it correct because of the citizens petition, even if we override the veto, it's held in abeyance until it goes to the voters, and so it's not approved until the voters approve it?
I think that's going to be the next step after we take care of this step. That's why I said for now. But even if that will be the next step after this. So understood, yes. So yes vote is yes for the safe city ordinance. A no vote is no safe city ordinance. And it's going to be a roll call.
Counselor Sun,
No.
Counselor Burson,
Yes.
Counselor Alice,
No.
Counselor Dolan,
Yes.
Counselor Gilmore,
Yes.
Counselor Wheeler,
Yes.
Counselor Mayo,
Yes.
Counselor Hirschfeld,
Yes.
Counselor Mass,
No.
Vice President Ricketts,
Yes.
Counselor Stemple,
Yes.
would the President like to vote?
Yes and yes. Okay. So the veto is overridden and the ordinance passes again by 2/3. Now we have to deal with the ballot question. So give us a second as I confer with Attorney Quinn. Everybody, this isn't done yet. The ballot question? Okay.
So I'm sorry, how many copies do you need? Is it obviously?
So I can just ask Councilor Alice to make this motion?
Sure.
Okay,
And then we can have discussion about it.
Okay.
So I can explain.
okay. Councilor Alice, I'm going to ask you to make this motion, and then we can have discussion about it, and we can tell you why there was a little bit of an amendment, but first we're going to make the motion.
Do you want me to read the entirety?
Do we have to read the entire thing? Yes, please.
Okay. Motion to amend the form of the ballot question for clarification and consistency purposes approved by the City Council on August 21st, 2019, order number FY 20-026, as indicated below. Binding ballot question 2. Shall the following measure, which was proposed to be rescinded by voters in a citizen referendum petition, take effect? Summary. That the Greenfield City Council amends the code of the City of Greenfield by adding Chapter 353, establish the City of Greenfield as a safe city ordinance as summarized below, and further amends the table of contents and index and contents of the code, and further that non-substantive changes to the numbering of the ordinance be permitted in order that it be in compliance with the numbering format of the code of the City of Greenfield. The Safe City Ordinance would be effective immediately upon passage. Its purpose is to affirm that Greenfield is a welcoming city which embraces everyone, including but not limited to the immigrant, the refugee, the asylum seeker, and anyone of good faith and goodwill who wishes to be a member of our community. While the ordinance would not prohibit or restrain any city official from sending to or receiving from any local, state, or federal agency information regarding citizenship or immigration status consistent with 8 U.S.C. Section 1373, the ordinance would establish that a city official shall not inquire as to an individual's immigration status unless required by federal or state law. B, a city official shall not target with legal action or discriminate against a medical, educational, or faith institution in their mission of providing refuge to immigrants and their families. C, a city official shall not initiate an investigation or take law enforcement action, including regulatory action, on the basis of actual or perceived immigration status. D, notwithstanding sections 2A and 2C above, a person's immigration status shall not prohibit or inhibit the city or the city's officials' participation in any government operation or program that confers an immigration benefit or temporarily or permanently protects non-citizens from removal as provided through programs such as the U visa, the T visa, and the Federal Violence Against Women Act. E, when an individual is eligible for release from custody, a city official shall not detain nor delay the release of an individual on the basis of a civil immigration detainer request for an ICE administrative warrant for the individual. F, a city official shall honor judicial warrants, but shall not respond to an ICE request for notification about the incarceration status or pending release of a person in custody, and shall not otherwise communicate with ICE about a person who is in custody, including providing information about the person's release from custody, home address, work address, or phone number. G, to the extent permissible by law, a city official shall not perform the functions of an immigration officer, whether pursuant to 8 U.S.C. Section 1357G or any other law, regulation, or policy, whether informal or whether, is that supposed to be formal or informal? Or informal or informal?
Formal or informal?
Formal or informal. A yes vote would uphold the city council vote above and allow the Safe City Ordinance to go into effect. A no vote would rescind the city council vote and not allow the Safe City Ordinance to go into effect, yes or no.
Is there a second? Okay, first I'm going to let Attorney Quinn explain why these minor revisions were made.
Microphone, please.
Thank you. So I had spoken with the city clerk, Kathy, earlier today. She had been in touch with Michelle Tesserini, I think that's her name, who's with the Elections Division of the State Department of State. And she recommended certain formatting issues or changes relating to the ballot that had been approved, or the question had been submitted to the November ballot back in August 21st, before the mayor's veto. And so those changes were made here to make it largely consistent with the other question that's going to in terms of the wording, the introduction, things of that nature, the other ballot question concerning the library that's also going to be on the ballot. So that was the nature of the change in the opening kind of description of the question under binding ballot question. What the council approved back in August 21st was kind of this summary, the first paragraph of this summary, but it included in that reference as attached, the ordinance as attached here too. And apparently, back in August, you had the copy of the ordinance before you attached to the proposed order, and so you voted. Well, literally, you cannot say in the ballot question as attached here too, because the citizens, it's not, the ordinance itself is not going to be attached to the ballot question. What the general laws, I looked at the general laws, and they permit, and probably could be construed as kind of mandating that the city summarize, give a fair summary of the ordinance, of the issue, of the ordinance that's going to be before the voters, which is what I attempted to do. I know it's quite detailed, but there were a lot of elements in that ordinance that was passed back in August that I wanted to make sure that, was fairly portrayed on the ballot question, which is why you have A through F, which is from the actual ordinance that was approved back in August. So that embellishment was made, in my judgment, because of the general laws regarding the content of ballot questions.
Councilor Mass?
I'd like to offer what I hope will be a friendly amendment, and that would be to add the language and to allow the town clerk to make non-substantive changes as to form and position.
I think that's fine. I would accept that. You got that? Okay. Councilor Gilmore?
Just to clean it up, can we change informal, that first informal to formal, I think would also be.
I think that's fine. Councilor Dolan?
Just a point of clarification. So if we vote this motion down, does the previous motion to put it on the ballot with the old language stand?
That's a good question. One I'm going to give to Attorney Quinn or Parliamentarian Roberts. It's a legal question.
I would say that probably, yeah, it would stand. The original approval would stand. I'm not aware of any contrary rule that would say it wouldn't stand.
Councilor Stemple?
I do not have any friendly amendments. I just want to say we'll likely move forward putting this on the ballot, and I don't think that's a win at all. Every bone in my body doesn't want this to go to a popular vote, and I'll tell you why. Anytime that the rights of a minority goes to the majority, guess what happens? The minority loses their rights. I'm looking at all the women in this room, all the people of color in this room. That's what happens, and that's what history has told us. And here we are as a community. Some of us are proud that this is going to a ballot. It's embarrassing for me. And if this is how we're going to move forward as a community, and hopefully we can find some unity in this, it's embarrassing.
Any other discussion? Sure.
May I just clarify, please, that Councilor Mass's friendly amendment is an amendment to the motion, not an amendment to the ballot question.
Any other discussion? Councilor Sutton?
I'm not against a safe city, but I just, you got 17,000 people in the town or city of Greenfield. All 17,000 people couldn't fit in this auditorium or the other. A lot of people don't think it's fair to get the voice from the other constituents in the town of Greenfield. But I think we serve everybody and not just the few people here. And like I said, I'm not against it. But I feel that, we have equal rights for everybody. And when in 1968, I raised my hand and said that I would obey the laws of the United States of America and the community. And so that's part of the laws of the vote. And I just feel that we should at least have equal rights for everybody.
Councilor Stemple?
I just want to address my colleague, and by a no vote, that does mean that you are against the safe cities. And I just want to make folks aware that to be in the United States, whether you're a citizen or not, you are still guaranteed what is given to us by our Bill of Rights. It doesn't matter if you were born here or not, the Bill of Rights still protect you. Specifically, the protection from unreasonable searches and seizures. And so I would just like to say that that's legal talk.
Point of order.
No, I'm not done
No.
talking yet. And so
You're
I
next,
just
Councilor
wanted,
Mass.
I just wanted to clarify, each time someone says something that's not true about this, we're not taking away your firearms, checked with the chief of police, we're not taking away veterans' rights, I checked with a lawyer. I just want to make sure that we're not spreading more rumors or misinformation about what this is or what this isn't. If you truly do want everyone to be equal, and if you do want to represent the people of Greenfield, we didn't tell people that they couldn't come here tonight. If 17,000 people, 11 of those who vote, we would find room to have a meeting in a place where everyone could come and voice their opinion. This is who came. This is who this is important to. And so that's what we're moving forward with. These are the voices that we've heard.
Councilor Mass?
Point of order. I just want to clarify, and I don't think Councilor Stemple meant to confuse the issue. I think she was talking about what the vote at the ballot box meant. But the vote before us is whether or not to amend the ballot question in the form of the question. We have a question on the ballot that we're required to put on by our charter, and the question is what the form should be. So a no vote is not to amend the question, and a yes vote is to amend the question consistent with the recommendations of the Secretary of State and Town Attorney. Is that correct?
A yes vote is to put this form on the ballot. A no vote is not to. But I think Councilor Stemple was just saying generally a no vote, a no Safe Cities vote is, that's what, I don't think it was in reference to the amended version. Is there any other discussion? Councilor Burson. Oh, could you put your microphone on,
Yeah.
please?
I do not see this as merely a parliamentary requirement. And I'm optimistic and hopeful the people of Greenfield, when this is placed on the ballot, will affirm it. This is in my view, a life-saving ordinance, not in the most direct sense, but the most indirect sense, because we join the rest of the cities and towns and states and other governmental bodies and people who take a position in connection with people who are certainly under the most incredible stress and pressure. So I'm optimistic that the people of Greenfield will come out and by a strong majority vote in favor of safe cities. So it's, although Brother Mass is right in connection with what we're doing, but what we're saying is something very, very different. And it's very, very important for the city of Greenfield and the people to take a stand and make a statement about, our fellow human beings.
Any other discussion? Vice President Ricketts.
I'm glad that I will have my final say on this issue at the polls. I am saddened that that's where my final say will be. It is awful that we are doing human rights there. And guess people don't remember when things just didn't occur that easily. You know, what you see today wasn't always that way. A black person wasn't even considered a whole person at one time. Women weren't allowed to vote at one time. You know, black people weren't allowed to vote at one time. There are lots of things that have changed. And so sometimes when I hear the arguments that are coming forward about things like this, I'm really disheartened that so much history is actually lost. So I'm very sad that it is on our ballot, but I am happy that I will be able to vote because I also took an oath. I had to take an oath when I became a counselor, and I had to listen to many voters. We got lots of emails. I've gotten phone calls that I haven't returned yet, and I'm sorry about all the emails I did not return today. But people for months have come out in huge numbers getting in touch with us about this. It wasn't like a one-off for them. That's how dedicated they were to this. So I did what I did because I'm trying to listen to those folks. So thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Before we vote, I just want to say I support my fellow councilors Stemple and Vice President Ricketts. It's not easy as women to be up here, and Councilor Burson, and to say these things, and to know that in probably not short order, you will be made a target of the online trolls, and then some, and perhaps your quotes will be taken out of context. And that's just the way it goes. So I want you to know that you're not alone, and that I, for one, will always have your back, no matter what. I won't engage in what happens online, but, and I know a lot of people up here feel the same way, and I know there's a lot of people in the audience that feel the same way. So I just want you to know that you're not alone, and that sometimes people can be, I'm going to say it again, scary. You like that, right? Yeah, I know you do. So we ready to vote? Council Mass.
I just want to say that I respect people on both sides of this issue who have differing opinions. We have a community that has a diversity of debate, and it's healthy for our community. I appreciate my colleagues on both sides who have different points of view on this. I understand counselors who are reluctant to put issues that they see as civil rights issues before the ballot box. I certainly understand that. But I would say that I encourage, regardless of how you feel about this particular issue, everyone to come out to the ballot box and express their position. I don't believe that you need to be scared to vote. I don't believe that the act of voting is a racist act, regardless of which way you vote on this. I think people of good intentions can bring different points of view together and come to a decision that other people may disagree with, but which in their mind is right. This has been a divisive issue before the council, and it is my hope that as we go forward, at least over the next 3 months while I'm here, that we're able to move on to other issues where we can be more unified and work together and get some things accomplished for the city of Greenfield. Thank you.
Any other comments? Want to do a roll call vote? Okay, one more time. So a yes is the amended version that is to go on the ballot, that is just for clarity. And a no is you don't like the amended version and you want the first version.
Councilor Sund? Councilor Burson? Yes. Counselor Alice? Yes. Counselor Dolan?
Yes.
Counselor Gilmore?
Yes.
Counselor Wheeler?
Yes.
Counselor Mayo?
Yes.
Counselor Hirschfeld?
Yes.
Counselor Mass?
Yes.
Vice President Ricketts?
Yes.
Counselor Stemple?
Yes.
Counselor Sun?
I don't need to, but I'll vote yes. Unanimously passes. It will be on the ballot, and folks will have a chance to vote. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion accepted. We are adjourned.
All right.